You think modern dating is messy? Zeus literally turned into a swan, a bull, and even someone else's husband, just to get a date. And it worked. Every time. Zeus wasn't just the king of Olympus, he was a full-time god, part-time disaster. His love life? It caused half the legends we know. Every time he fell in love, someone got cursed, a hero got born, or a continent got named. These weren't just flings. They were mythological plot bonds. So let's zoom in on one of those divine disasters. Because this next story, it starts with a mortal just living her life and ends with Zeus doing what he does best, showing up uninvited in the weirdest way possible. Meet Danaë. She's a beautiful princess in Argos, and unfortunately for her, her dad, the king, is having a full-on prophecy panic. He hears from an oracle that his daughter's future son is going to kill him. Now, most dads would go, huh, that's intense, and maybe keep an eye on the family tree. But not King Acrisius. Nope, this man skips the parenting books and jumps straight to locking his daughter in a bronze tower. Literally. No doors, no windows, no human contact. Problem solved, right? To be clear, Danaë's not a prisoner in a dungeon. She's more like a divine Rapunzel in a deluxe metal panic room. Her dad thinks he outsmarted fate. No men equals no babies equals no deadly grandson. But here's the thing. Fate doesn't care about locks. And neither does Zeus. Especially when he's bored. Now here's where things get shiny and weird. Zeus up in Olympus catches a glimpse of Danaë down in that shiny bronze prison. And instead of thinking, poor girl, locked up by her dad, his god brain goes, ooh, challenge accepted. Because, of course, being king of the gods means you can do basically anything. Fly? Easy. Shapeshift? Done. So how does Zeus get into a sealed room with no door, no windows, and solid bronze walls? He turns into golden rain. Yes! Literal golden particles of light that drift down from the sky, slip through the cracks in the roof, and magically land in Danaë's lap. Smooth? Kinda. Creepy? Definitely. Effective? Very. The myth isn't super specific about what happens next, but let's just say the rain wasn't just decorative. Zeus, in all his sparkly, misty glory, somehow manages to impregnate her while in particle form. And just like that, Danaë becomes pregnant, with Perseus, future monster slayer, head slicer, and all-around mythological MVP. So now Danaë is suddenly pregnant, and her paranoid dad? Yeah, he's not thrilled. King Acrisius hears a baby crying inside the bronze tower and thinks, wait, what? He's confused, angry, and probably panicking because his entire no grandsons planned just backfired spectacularly. Somehow, despite 0 visitors and a full lockdown, his daughter just had a baby. Now, does he finally accept destiny? Nope. He takes Danaë and baby Perseus, locks them in a wooden chest, and throws them into the sea. But plot twist, the chest drifts safely to an island called Seriphos, where a kind fisherman rescues them. Perseus grows up strong, fearless, and ready to wreck some monsters. And he grows up to be a Medusa-slaying legend. So the next time it rains and you feel something dramatic in the air, maybe just check the ceiling. Because Zeus didn't stop at golden rain. Next, he pulled off the ultimate divine catfish. Alcmene was the wife of Amphitryon, a noble warrior off fighting in a distant war. She was loyal, patient, and just waiting for him to come home. But Zeus? He had other plans. He saw her, admired her beauty, and thought, what if I got there first? So here's what Zeus does. He waits until Amphitryon is still away at war, and then he shapeshifts into him. Zeus shows up at Alcmene's door like, hey honey, I'm back from the battlefield. And she welcomes him without a clue. But here's the real twist. Zeus extends the night. Literally. He slows time, stretches one normal evening into 3 full nights of, let's say, married bonding. To Alcmene, it feels like a long-awaited reunion. To Zeus, just another divine side quest, with a hero in the making. The next morning, after Zeus is long gone, the real Amphitryon finally returns home. He's excited, ready to see his wife, and Alcmene is just standing there like, wait, didn't we already do this? Cue confusion, denial, and a very uncomfortable conversation. Alcmene realizes something's off. This wasn't a dream. It wasn't a trick. She was with someone, but not her husband. And soon enough, the truth comes out. She's pregnant with Zeus's child. And that child? Yeah, that's Heracles. Strongest hero in Greek myth, monster slayer, Olympus climber, future demigod icon. But Zeus wasn't done building the god tier family tree. Next up, he shows up as a bird and somehow causes a war 2 generations later. Meet Leda, a queen, a beauty, and unfortunately, the next target on Zeus's chaos calendar. Leda was the queen of Sparta, graceful, respected, and married to King Tyndareus. She wasn't chasing drama. She wasn't chasing gods. She was literally just out for a walk near a river. And that's when Zeus spotted her. Now, instead of approaching like a normal god or even pretending to be immortal, Zeus decides, I'm going to turn into a swan. That'll work. Because apparently, feathers equals flirting in Olympus. So Zeus transforms into a beautiful white swan, graceful, delicate, and acting like it's being chased by an eagle. He flies right into Leda's arms, trembling, innocent, like a fluffy little victim. Except he's not. In that moment, Zeus makes his move. The myths are super vague on the details. Some say it was consensual, others say definitely not. Either way, it ends the same. That night, Leda sleeps with both Zeus in swan form and her human husband, which leads to the weirdest pregnancy in mythological history. A few days later, Leda lays 2 eggs. Yes, actual eggs. Because apparently, when you sleep with a god disguised as poultry, that's what happens. From those eggs hatch 4 children, 2 mortals, 2 divine. And among them is Helen of Troy, the woman whose face would launch 1,000 ships and start the Trojan War. So yeah, Zeus didn't just cause a scandal. He basically hatched a war. And just when you think Zeus couldn't get more chaotic, his next affair literally explodes, takes someone out, and ends with a baby sewn into his leg. Semele was a beautiful mortal princess of Thebes. And somehow, she caught Zeus's attention, which, as we've seen, is both flattering and life-threatening. They start a secret affair. Zeus visits her in human form, and Semele gets pregnant. Everything's going great, until Hera finds out. And when Hera finds out Zeus is cheating, she doesn't rage. She plots. Hera disguises herself as an old woman and pays Semele a visit. She acts sweet, pretends to be curious, then drops a question that changes everything. If your lover's really Zeus, why hasn't he shown you his true form? Semele, now full of doubt and curiosity, asks Zeus to prove himself. Zeus panics because he knows no mortal can handle seeing a god's full power. But he swore an oath, and when a god swears on the river Styx, he has to keep it. So Zeus appears in his true god form, lightning, thunder, divine flames, the whole Olympus package. And Semele? She doesn't even get to finish blinking. She's instantly incinerated. But here's the twist. She was pregnant with Dionysus, the future god of wine and chaos. So what does Zeus do? He grabs the unborn baby and sews him into his own thigh. And when the time came, Zeus opened his thigh and Dionysus was born. A god made from love, lightning, and pure chaos. And just when you think Zeus might take a break from shapeshifting and chaos babies, he turns into a bull. Because of course he does. Europa was a Phoenician princess. Smart, graceful, and completely unaware she was about to become mythological history. One morning, she's out by the sea with her friends, picking flowers, minding her business, when suddenly a stunning white bull strolls out of nowhere. And of course, this bull? It's Zeus. Because nothing says romance like surprise livestock from Olympus. The bull, aka Zeus, acts super tame. He nuzzles her hand. He lays down in the sand. Basically the divine version of you can pet me, I'm friendly. Europa, thinking this is just a weirdly chill animal, climbs onto his back. And that's when Zeus makes his move. He sprints into the sea with her on his back, swimming full speed across the open ocean. No warning, no goodbye, just full nothing. She holds on for dear life, not knowing she's on an express ride to destiny. Zeus carries Europa all the way to the island of Crete, where he finally reveals his true identity. Surprise! You've been riding the king of the gods this whole time. He gives her royal treatment, golden gifts, a palace, and eventually, she becomes queen of Crete. Their children? One of them is King Minos. Yeah, the guy with the minotaur in the maze. And as for Europa, her name lives on forever, because the whole continent of Europe is named after her. And that wraps up the wild, weird, and world-shaping love life of Zeus, king of the gods, champion of chaos, and ancient Greece's #1 shape-shifting romantic liability. If you thought these were messy, just wait until we talk about Hera's revenge, Hades and the underworld, or the goddesses who brought divine chaos with precision. Like, subscribe, and drop a name. Whose myth should we roast next?